Today I wanted to talk to you about this AMPEG amp I bought. Bought it with my own money, and this is just my own opinion on it. But I have a few quick ideas I want to share about who might want this amp and what differentiates this amp from similar models from other brands. And I want to keep it real short. You can check the reviews online. Pretty much everybody agrees that these new rocket amps have that AMPEG sound, whatever that is. Whatever it is, I do really like the sound of this amp. I've always been into high-end audio gear. I'm real picky about sound. The first Fender I had was a Fender LT25 with a little 8-inch speaker, and as fun as it was, out of that 8-inch speaker, it just sounded like a toy. I've got a Fender 40-watt 10-inch amp here, and it's loud and thick and clean, but it just sounds kind of dull and lifeless, to be honest. But this guy here, I think the big difference is I opened it up and realized the cabinet is made of a nice, gosh, I think it's like 1/4 birch plywood. I think it's birch anyway, but it's a nice plywood. So the cab actually has a sound to it. You're going to hear the sound of this cab, and it gives a woody tone to the sound of this bass. All the other basses I've had have been made of MDF, and I think that's fine for monitors and for modeling amps where you need the really neutral sound. But as far as like a bass goes that you might want to use to mic, I think this would be a great bass to mic, just because it's not really big, but it's plenty loud for, I'm in a 10 by 20 room here. I don't really think this amp is really the best for taking out on a gig or whatever. But for a studio or a small room or home studio, bedroom setup, whatever, you're gonna have a hard time finding something with this nice tone. And the other point I wanted to make real quick was that Yamaha owns these guys now, and you can say whatever about corporate takeovers, but it's not like a TV company came in and bought AMPEG. We're talking about Yamaha, who makes some of the best pianos out there. They make the Yamaha NS10 studio monitors. They make awesome home audio gear. I'm into stereo gear, and I've got 2 of their receivers. Soundboards, grand pianos, bass drums. Yamaha is known for great gear. The guitarists don't really pay attention to them or give them the credit or whatever. I think maybe the bass community gives them a little more credit, but they're still kind of flying under the radar. But Yamaha knows how to make good stuff, and they know how to get stuff made in the Asian market. So that's a big thing these days, and they are the biggest music company out there. So it's like having a rich parent, really, for AMPEG at this point. Everybody online, as far as the respected reviewers, agrees it has the AMPEG sound. And lastly, the styling is just off the charts. I love this covering. I love this logo. Even the back has a cool logo on it. Yeah, it might be just a couple bucks more than the Fender Rumble, but I think you're getting something with character, something that not every teenage kid has in his room or whatever. And I think it's an amp that really differentiates itself. So hopefully the Yamaha quality is there. I've heard they had a real hand in putting together this line, so I think it is. It seems like it from the knobs and whatnot. The hardware on it just has a nice quality feel to it. So that's my general opinion about this amp. There's plenty of other reviews and people that go into the specs or whatever of this amp, but that's not really what I wanted to talk about. I'm going to put some links down below to some of the reviews that I watched before I did this one, and maybe I'll go back and add some as I watch good reviews or good demos. And if you subscribe to my channel or check out my channel page, I do play a lot of demos with this. I'm not gonna do one now because I just wanted to basically talk about this amp and why you might want to buy it. If you don't want the Fender Rumble and you want something different that really has a quality Yamaha audiophile kind of sound with that AMPEG tone, a real subtle overdrive, I'll throw that in there. I didn't really want to talk about the specs, but the overdrive is very subtle, like they call it grit, and I think that's a pretty good name. It just adds a little grit. It's not like a real thick distortion or anything like a fuzz. You can add that with a cheap pedal later if you want, or an expensive pedal, whatever. But this is just, it adds a nice little grit or grind to the sound that's kind of subtle, and you can roll it way back and get it as subtle as you want. So there we go. I'm gonna wrap it up with that. I love this amp. I'd recommend it. I think it's a great size for a 10 by 20 room. I don't think I'd use it for gigging. Maybe a garage setup with other other musicians. I think it'd hold its own just fine like that. But yeah, eventually someday I plan to maybe get the 210 model for a real just full-on amp that I'll never outgrow, but we'll see. All right, have a great day. Subscribe to the channel if you want to check out some demos of this amp. I'll do a few more of those. I've got some reviews coming up of this Yamaha 04 BB bass and Yamaha TRBX 504 I've still got to do a review on for you guys. So have a great day. Aloha.